Welcome my friends, I have a special video for you today. 8 DIY Deco mesh wreaths for every season. I have 2 samples for each season of the year. If this is your first time visiting my channel, this is a great way for you to see my creativity and how I teach. Let's get started with spring. Let me show you how to make some beautiful seasonal wreaths. To get started on today's project, you're going to need a 14-inch working wreath form. Now, if you have not seen me put one of these together, I will link in the description box below a quick video that will show you how to do it. You're also going to need 2 rolls of 10-inch by 10-yard decorative mesh. I'm going to be using this ombre color. I love the yellow, the light, and the dark green together. We're going to prep our ribbon for our wreath. Now I pulled out 5 different ribbons. All of them came from craftoutlet.com. I will insert a photo of the item number after each ribbon for you. And this one is 2.5 inches at 50 yards. I love this pattern and I knew I was going to use a lot of it this year. So we're going to be using this one. And then, of course, I had to pick up that gorgeous frog ribbon. Now, they have 2 to choose from. They have this one that has the white background, and then they also have one that has a pink background, so that's up to you. 2.5 inches at 10 yards. This one was $6.95. I have a plain faux pink burlap, 2.5 inches at 10 yards. This was $4.75. Then I have this beautiful ribbon. I love the pink and green. It goes perfectly with the colors in this wreath. 2.5 inches at 10 yards, $5.95. And then this is 1.5 inches at 10 yards. This is $3.56. I really love this ribbon. It's gorgeous. It has just a little bit of sparkle in it. And I've already used this on another wreath. It works very well. It's really good ribbon. I love that brand. I'm most likely going to be ordering more of this one because I'm almost out. You want to take your ribbon and cut 9 pieces at 12 inches of each pattern. I have 9 pieces of each ribbon cut at 12 inches. And just look at how pretty all those colors look together, all lined up. Now on all my ribbon, I'm also going to go ahead and dovetail, and I just fold mine in half. I cut from the fold to the point. And I don't like a real strong dovetail, so I usually only come up about 1/2 inch. And these are some new scissors I've been using, and I really like these. They are heavy duty shears. If you are interested, they are in my Amazon associate shop. This is the sign that I picked up from Craft Outlet that we're going to use today. Now they had about 3 different ones to choose from. I really liked this one because I liked all the pink accents. Now it does come with a jute cord here if you would like to hang it. But we're going to remove that, and look, it is so nice and thick. And there is your item number. So we're going to remove the hanger, and then we're going to be attaching some pipe cleaners here in the back. I'm going to do one at the top, one at the very bottom, and then one on either side. And I'm going to be using my staple gun here. Now these are very inexpensive. You can pick them up at any hardware store. They run about $20 to $30. I've had this one since I was probably 20 years old. Now that I've got them stapled, I'm just going to go over that with a little hot glue. Just in case this staple didn't get it down enough and it slides, I don't want it to slide out. You know, I like everything built like a Mack truck. I have all my pipe cleaners on, my form is ready, and I pulled the ones around the inner ring up and the ones around the outer ring out. I like to start to attach on my inner ring, but that's up to you. It doesn't matter. You can start on the inner or the outer ring. So I'm going to start with one of the 10-inch rolls. Scrunch the end up. Come to your pipe cleaner, place that in. Make sure you get that nice and snug. Pull tight and give a couple twists. Okay, and then we're going to be measuring our poofs at 10 inches. And you want to start to measure right here where you have attached it. Just grab and pull out, pinch at 10 inches, go to the next pipe cleaner and place that in. Continue to do that and work around the center ring. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. This list will not only tell you how much you're going to need, it will also let you know where I purchased the materials. Now I'm right back where I started, so I'm going to move down to the outer ring, and you just simply drop right on down. Pull it in, give it a good twist, and then go ahead and measure your poofs again at 10 inches and just move your way around the outside ring. Once you have all your poofs on, you want to go back and open them up and spread them apart. But as you can see, that still looks really thin. Don't worry about it. We are going to fill this base up. With the second roll and the rest of the roll that you used to do the poof method, you want to cut into strips at 25 inches. I'm going to be using my bow dabber. I like to use this machine when I'm making bundles. I have arthritis in my hands and it does make it difficult for me to hold things. And I have all my ribbon laid out next to me so I can add it as I add my mesh. So we're going to be doing the cruffle method. I really like the poof and cruffle method together. It gives a lot of texture and it fills in the base nicely. So my piece is cut at 25 inches. You want to start at one end and you want to do a nice large roll and go about 3 times. Clip. Then you go to the other end and you do exactly the same thing. Now if you're rolling it too tight, you'll know because the mesh will start to stick out on the ends. That tells you your roll is too tight. You want to go back and loosen it up. If you allow it to stick out at the ends, you're going to have more issues with fraying. Then once you have about 2 or 3 rolls, pinch in the center, scrunch all the way till you get to the other side. And then you can either clip it again with the clip, or you can put it in your bow maker, whatever is easy for you, or if you've got good hands, you can always hold it in your hands. And then I'm going to be adding 2 to 3 ribbon to each bundle. This one I'm going to give the frog and the pink. I like these two together. Scrunch and put that in the center. Again, I'm going to start in my center ring. And when you're placing them, you want to place them sideways like this. So the bundle goes this way, sideways. This is going to give you a really thick base. If you place it the other way, you end up getting a lot of mesh stuck in the center. And then around the outside, it doesn't look that thick and full. I always like to just kind of separate my ribbon. I usually kind of do the crisscross, lift up, and kind of pull out. And because we're going to be putting a sign in the center, I like to pull my ribbon towards the outside. Okay, so you want to twist it down a couple extra times. Trim your pipe cleaners and then tuck those to the back. Now as you continue to add more bundles, these are going to lift up and it's going to get nice and thick. So for each pipe cleaner, you're going to be adding a bundle that has ribbon and mesh. So let's do the next one. For this one, I'm going to do 3 ribbon. Do the daisy in the back, the beautiful pink and green with the green on top. Okay, so I'm just going to be alternating as I move around the inside, and then I'm going to drop to the outside and fill in the outside. I have all of my bundles and my ribbon in. You just want to go through and make sure that your bundles are stacked up next to each other and that you lift up and kind of curl out your ribbon. I always like to pull them kind of a crisscross so I get a really good mix. And as you can see, I've gone through and just fluffed everything out. I really love the mix of ribbon. I think that is just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Time to add our adorable little sign, and I want him right up on top in the center. Now to get this attached, you just take your pipe cleaners, you feed it down through the mesh and ribbon until you can get to the wireframe in the back, and you tie it on to the wireframe. Now the last element that I'm going to add is some of this felt floral garland that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I love that they're daisies. They will match the daisy ribbon perfectly. And I've cut them apart. They do come on a string. So they're all strung together. I just simply went in and trimmed them apart. I'm going to take a leaf and add 1 leaf to a floral. I'll have a couple florals left that won't have a leaf. That's okay. Now to get these attached, I'm going to be using a combination of Aleene's Original Tacky Glue and hot glue. Once Aleen sets up, it becomes very weather resistant and you won't have to worry about things falling off your wreath. I have completed my wreath. I am so happy with the end result. As you can see, I did go in and add some of those felt daisies, and I think it was the perfect final addition for this wreath. I love those color combinations in the ribbon. Absolutely gorgeous. For today's project, you will need a 5-gallon stir stick. You can pick this up at a Home Depot, Lowe's, or any paint store. Usually if you go in and you ask, they will give you one for free, but those tend to have a lot of printing on. If you pick something up like that, you may want to paint your stir stick. This one I picked up from Lowe's in a package of 3. I believe I paid $1.99 for 3, and I like it. It does have some white printing here as a measurement of a ruler, and the other side is plain. So I like these because I don't have to paint them. They look nice and clean, and I just put any print facing up and you won't be able to see it at all. You're also going to need some full-length pipe cleaners. Now if your paint stick has any writing on it, you want that to be facing up. So take one full-length pipe cleaner. I'm going to do a loop there about 2 inches, and then I'm going to do a twist. This is what we're going to use to hang our project when we're completed. Okay, and I want to put this on the back with a plain side. And wherever it is the thinnest, here at the top that comes in, you want to attach that nice and snug. That way it's not going to slide off, and it's going to hold the weight of our wreath today. After we get everything on, I'm going to go back and we'll touch up with some hot glue to make sure nothing moves. And now we're going to turn this into a working rail. So start at the bottom. You want to come up just about 1 inch. You're going to place one pipe cleaner here. Just try to get it in the center. Couple twists, and you want to leave those standing up. You're going to do the same thing at the opposite end. And for me, it's above where I put my hanger. Okay. Now we're going to place one of those right in the center, and then one in the center on either side, just like that. Now in between each of these, we're going to place 2 more pipe cleaners. One's going to face this way and the other one's going to face that way. I have all my pipe cleaners on, and now I'm going to go in and just add some hot glue. I want to make sure that they don't slide around and that they stay in the position. Same thing here with the hanger. Okay, so we're going to prep our ribbon. I pulled out 5 different ribbons to go onto this swag. I have this one, faux burlap. It's 2.5 inches at 10 yards. This one right here is one of my favorites. Beautiful green background. Look at how beautiful the bees are. They actually look like they're fuzzy. And of course, I love the daisies. A little bit more daisy accent. This one's 1.5 inches. And then these 2, I wanted to pull in a little bit of black, but not too much, and I thought these will work fine. I love the yellow and black, fits the bees. And this one, I love that neutral background with the different colored polka dots. So these 3 are 1.5 inches at 10 yards, and these 2 are 2.5 inches at 10 yards. I did purchase all of these at craftoutlet.com. I will have the item numbers for them in the description box below. You want to cut 6 pieces of each ribbon at 12 inches and dovetail the ends. I have one roll here of 10 inch by 10 yard, this beautiful lime green deco mesh. I really like this color. I think it's going to set off all the other colors that we're going to add on top. And I'm going to be adding a lot of ribbon and some signs on this. So I wanted to keep the base nice and plain. So to get this started, you want to scrunch the ends. And then you want to pull down and make a loop. Now this loop can be however big or small that you want. That's what's going to start it. You want to make sure that your ends are on the bottom and underneath. And you're going to start right at the top. Pull it snug and give a twist. We are going to be coming back and adding some other items later on, so you don't want to trim those off. And what we're going to do is we're going to go right down the center to the bottom here, and then we're going to come up one side, over, and then down the other. To help me measure my poofs, I'm going to be using my small cutting mat. You want to start where you attached it here. And we're going to be measuring our poofs for this at 12 inches. So pinch at 12 inches. And then you're going to take that, move down the center, and go to the next pipe cleaner. And you just keep measuring and go right down the center. Okay, I'm down at the end. And now I'm going to measure again at 12 inches. And you can go to either side, it doesn't matter. But now I'm going to move over to the side here and start attaching it on the side. So I'm up here at the top, so I'm going to make a pit stop here in the middle before I cross over completely to the other side. Then trim off your mesh. You want to leave about an inch. That uses just about half a roll. And that is our first pass. We're going to fill this in with some curls and ribbons, so don't worry. This is going to be nice and thick by the time we're done. Okay, I've done the poof method here on the base. And now we're going to fill in. You want to cut what's left of your roll into strips at 8 inches, and you should be able to get 13 pieces. I was able to get 14, so I have one extra one. I'm going to be using my Bow Dabber. I like to use this machine when I'm putting together bundles. It holds everything nicely. And I do have all my ribbon ready to go. 6 pieces of each ribbon cut at 12 inches and dovetailed. So each pipe cleaner is going to receive a curl and some ribbon, and I'm going to be doing 2 different ribbon bundles. So for your curl, you just want to roll it up. You need to make sure that you're getting at least a good full roll and a half. And you don't want the ends to be sticking out. Take your seam side and place that down. Now if you don't have a bow maker, you can always use one of the pink clips from Dollar Tree, or if you have good hands, you can hold it in your hands. Let's see. For this one, we're going to go. Okay, so for one bundle, I'm going to do the plain yellow, the polka dot, and then the daisy on top. And you take that and place it in each pipe cleaner. Give a couple extra twists. You want to leave about a 1/2 inch and then push those pipe cleaners down. And then you're going to want to lift up your ribbon. And I just like to kind of separate mine out. And I like to do kind of a crisscross. So I like to lift up, curl the ends out, and kind of separate. So it looks like that. Okay, and then our second bundle. Again, we're going to have a nice curl. And this one I'm going to do my beautiful bee ribbon with this to accent. Right down the center. Work your way all the way down the center and then up both sides, alternating on your ribbon bundles. My base is complete. I have all my curls and my ribbon in. I went through and fluffed a little bit. There's a few more things I want to add, so I'm going to do the final fluffing after I add everything. I found these adorable little gnome bees at Dollar Tree. They had 4 different ones to choose from, and you could get these in wind chimes, in a hanging sign, or in a garden stake. So hopefully you'll be able to find them. And these are the 2 that I chose to go on the swag today. And these both came as wind chimes. So they had the little bell at the bottom. So they already have a hole in the bottom, and at the top I removed the hanger and the bell. You want to replace that with some floral wire. I get this from Dollar Tree. I prefer the silver because it pretty much disappears. So I've added that at the top and the bottom. I've left it nice and long to make it easy for me to attach these to my wreath. Now I want to put him towards the bottom on one side and then her up towards the top on one side. And to get these attached, I'm going to be taking my floral wire, feed it through the mesh until I can get to my paint stick in the back, and I'm going to attach it to my paint stick. If my paint stick isn't in the right area, then I will attach it to the bundle on the side. But you can attach it wherever you need to get that sign to sit where you want it on your wreath. I have my 2 gnome bees on, and I'm really happy with that. I think they look so cute. Now there's just 2 more elements I want to add. I have 2 stems here of these daisies that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I like those. I'm just going to be pushing the greenery up and then leave a couple inches there. And then I'm going to be gluing them in throughout the wreath. I don't know if one stem is going to be enough. I pulled out two. I'll let you know when I'm done how many you're going to need. And then I'm also going to add a handful of these little bees. Now these came in packages from Dollar Tree. They had them last year. I haven't seen them in the stores yet this year. Hopefully they will get them in. But I am going to add a handful of these. You can also find these, I believe, online, and I think Walmart also has little bee buttons. You can go that route as well. Once you find your placement, just add a little bit of hot glue to the stem, and then you want to make sure that you get it nice and nestled right on down into the mesh. You want to make sure it gets good contact so it stays where you put it. Sometimes I kind of push them in so that they're actually skewer into the Deco mesh. I'm going to add in my final embellishments, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. I have all of my embellishments on, and I am very happy with the end result. It is so bright and cheery. And as you can see, I added my daisies and some of those cute little bees throughout. Just a little hidden surprise for when you walk up close. Absolutely gorgeous. To get started on our butterfly wreath, you're going to need a 14-inch wire wreath form. You can pick this up from Dollar Tree. It doesn't matter what color it is, whatever you can find. You're also going to need 2 rolls of the jute colored Poly Pro mesh ribbon. This is weatherproof. 10 inches at 10 yards. You can pick this up at Hobby Lobby. It regularly retails for $11.99, but about every 2 to 3 weeks they put their mesh on sale. It's either 40 or 50% off, and that is when I stock up. You're also going to need some pipe cleaners cut in half. I have both rolls of my mesh laid out, one on top of the other. This makes it easy for me to cut and quick work. You want to cut your mesh, both rolls, into strips at 15 inches. I prefer to use a rotary cutter, but if you have a good pair of scissors, that will work too. The rotary cutter I'm using today, I picked up from Dollar Tree. I like their rotary cutter. It's inexpensive, and it usually lasts me about 6 months. I have my mesh cut at 15 inches, and I'm starting to put together my bundles. So you want to take the 2 cut ends and you fold them over themselves by about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Make sure that the both ends are lined up. Push down. You want that folded part right in the center. Start at the bottom and scrunch up till the center. Start at the top and scrunch down just like you would on a standard ruffle. Grab that. Take half a pipe cleaner. You want to wrap it around the bottom. All of your cut ends and everything is folded in on top, so that's what you want at the bottom. So I just pull my pipe cleaners together. I like to pull everything down. That way I can get a nice tight grip, pinch and twist. Then you kind of open it up. I think it looks like a little butterfly. If one side is tighter than the other, you can just kind of grab and slightly pull till they're more even. That's what it looks like. Now when you put it into your wreath, it's going to fold up like butterfly wings, and it'll sit like this in your wreath. I'll show you one more time. Now I have one section on. Look how nice and thick and full that looks, and I love that smooth but textured look. Now, in between each section, and a section is between the two crossbars, you're going to be placing 8 bundles. Now, I'm placing them a little differently than I normally do. I am placing one on the 2 bars here in the center, and then one on the 2 bars on the outside, and alternating as I move through. So 4 will be on the 2 bars on the outside, and 4 bundles will be on the 2 bars in the center. I did this because I want my base here to be nice and wide and really thick. Okay. So you just take your pipe cleaners, you feed from the front to the back. Pull them together, give a good twist or two. And then I like to pull my pipe cleaners together, and then I push them forward. You won't see them from the front, and it keeps the back looking clean. And then slide over your bundle. Okay, so that one I put on the 2 bars on the inside, so this time I'll put it on the 2 bars on the outside. And just when you push it over, make sure the 2 wings are put together and slide over. Continue adding your bundles until you get 8 bundles per section. And here you go, the base is complete. Look at how beautiful my folded ruffle method is. You get little to no fraying with this method. Absolutely gorgeous. I love how thick and full, and I love all the texture that you get. I found this beautiful metal monarch butterfly at craftoutlet.com. This was $5.75. It does come with a little hook here to make it easy for you to attach it to your wreath. And I'm just going to be using a pipe cleaner. Give it a couple twists, and then you can attach it onto your wreath. Just take the pipe cleaners, feed it down through the mesh, and attach it to the frame in the back. Now I'm going to be placing my butterfly here a little off center on the side, and I want it to slightly angle as if it's flying away. My butterfly is attached. I'm very happy. I have it snug so that it doesn't twist or turn on me. And now I'm planning on putting a nice large bow up in this corner with some long tail, so we're going to work on that next. I'm going to be using my Deluxe Easy Bow Maker. I really like this machine. It helps me a lot, especially when I'm making large bows. I have arthritis in my hands, and it makes it difficult for me to hold a bunch of ribbon, so this holds it for me. You're also going to need some full-length pipe cleaners. And this is the ribbon that I've chosen for our bow today. All of these I picked up from craftoutlet.com, 1.5 inches at 10 yards, $4.95. This gorgeous monarch butterfly, 2.5 inches at 10 yards. This one was $7.95. 1.5 inches. This beautiful orange. It has a little bit of glitter in it, which I like, but not a lot, and that's $4.75. Absolutely beautiful ribbon. We're going to start here with our butterfly ribbon. And I'm going to, let's see, measure my tail here out at 12 inches. Pinch and twist. Now with this ribbon, it is very nice ribbon, I have to say. It's really thick, but it only has the pattern on one side. So on your tails, you want the nice side of the ribbon to be facing up, but once you come through and you go to make your loops, the nice side of the ribbon should be facing down. And on this one, I'm going to measure my loops here at 6 inches, and I'm going to make 3 on either side. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. This list will not only tell you how much you're going to need, it will also let you know where I purchased the materials. Now I'm going to go to this really pretty black, orange, and white striped ribbon. Again, I'm going to measure my tails at 12 inches, pinch and twist. With this ribbon, I'm going to make 3 loops on either side, and I'm going to be making them a little bit smaller at 5 inches. I'm going to go back to my butterfly ribbon. I'm going to measure my tails this time at 8 inches. This time I'm only going to make 2 loops on either side, and I'm going to go a little bit smaller again at about 4 inches. Maybe 4.5. Just a little smaller. And now I'm going to go to the pretty orange ribbon. I'm going to measure my tails again at 8 inches, pinch and twist. Okay, and then with this ribbon I'm going to measure and do 2 loops on either side at about 4.5 inches. Okay, so I have 2 loops on either side. I'm going to add 1 more loop for a center loop, and I'm going to measure it at the same length, approximately 4.5 inches. And then to get back to the correct side for my tail, I'm going to come through the small dowel rod and the large dowel rod here in the front. That helps me keep that little piece of ribbon that I need for my center loop on the correct side. Now that is one big bow and a lot of ribbon. Take a full length pipe cleaner, lift up one side and slide it down. I like to kind of push it down, all the ribbon, and then pinch so it's nice and snug as I pull out. Make sure you get that in the center. Wrap your pipe cleaners around and pull to the back. Get that snug. You got a lot of ribbon. Okay, now those aren't going to be long enough to get it onto my wreath, so I'm going to add another pipe cleaner. Now I have plenty of pipe cleaner to get my bow onto my wreath. You can see I have that extra little piece here in the front That's for my center loop. That will help keep the loop. So I just open my center loop and then I hold it. Once I get everything fluffed out, you won't even see that. On this one, I want all of my tails to come down. And then just open up and fluff out all of your loops. Now if you need to do any adjusting, you want to go right down to where the loop comes out. If you need to spread it open down near the bottom so that it opens up correctly, or you need to pull or tuck. So this is approximately what your bow should look like. I will do my final adjusting and trim my tails once I get it onto the wreath. I have my bow and my butterfly on. I'm super happy with that. As you can see, I spread everything out and trimmed my tails. I did dovetail them all. And I kind of like my tails to kind of cascade down. So I have several different lengths there. Very pretty. Now I'm going to add some of these really cute little monarch butterflies. I did pick these up from Craft Outlet. It was $8.50 for the box. And they do come on a nice long piece of metal, which is really easy to bend, and that is what I'm going to use to attach it. I want them to stick up just a little bit above my wreath. So when I put this in, I'm going to make sure I leave enough of the wire so it can sit up on top. Feed the wire down through the Deco mesh until you can get to the wire frame in the back. Attach your butterfly to the wire frame wherever you need to get it to sit in the position you want. I have my butterfly on, and as you can see, he's up above my wreath base. I really like that. Now I can change the angle, have him face down, have him face up, whatever I want and whatever looks right to me. I'm going to add in the rest of my butterflies. I have all of my embellishments in, and I'm really happy with the butterflies. I think they look so pretty. Absolutely gorgeous. You have a big, beautiful bow, all kinds of accent ribbons. I love this ribbon with the monarchs. To get started on today's project, you will need one of the Dollar Tree's 14-inch wreath forms. I'm going to be using silver today, but you can use whatever color you can find. You will also need 4 rolls of their red Deco mesh. 1 roll, or if you have half a roll, that will be sufficient, of black, and 1 roll of the dark green. Now the dark green, we're not going to be cutting. We're going to be doing this in a different method, so you can set that aside. For your black, you need to cut 6 strips at 12 inches. And then you need to cut all 4 rolls of your red into strips of 12 inches. You'll also need a package of pipe cleaners cut in half. I have my mesh cut into strips of 12 inches and I'm making my little bundles. Now this is kind of a cross between my folded ruffle and my rose petal. So like my folded ruffle, you cover your ends by about 1 inch, so you make a tube, push down, and then from the side you make sure everything is even, and you fold in by about 1/2 inch and then continue to fold across. So you see all of those cut ends are all folded in and hidden. Take your half a pipe cleaner, lay the flat side of your pipe cleaner on the clean. You want to pull those ends of your pipe cleaner to the side that has the seam. And I always pull it down. One, this allows you to make sure that your little bundle is even. And then it gives you the opportunity to get a nice tight grip at the base and twist. So the other method that I recently introduced is a rose petal, and that is a single rose. So this one is your rose bundle, and you get 2 roses. I'll show you again. You want to do the same thing with the black. Now the few little black that we're putting in are for the seeds in your watermelon. And to attach it to your wreath form, we're going to be attaching everything to the 2 bars in the center. And in each section, and a section is between the 2 crossbars, you'll be placing 10 bundles of the red and 1 bundle of the black. I'll probably be putting the black right on the crossbars after I get the red in. I just want a couple to represent the seeds of the watermelon. So just take your pipe cleaners. You want to feed them on either side of those 2 center bars. Pull it together. Give it a good twist or 2. I always like to pull my pipe cleaners together and then I push them forward. Push your bundle over and then continue to add. By pushing your ends forward, that's going to keep the back of your wreath looking nice and clean, and you're not going to be able to see those once you get all of your bundles in. I'm going to work on the base and get some of the sections done, and then I'll come back and give you a peek at what it's looking like. I have 3 sections of my wreath completed with my red and black bundles. And look at how pretty that is. And absolutely no fraying from Dollar Tree Deco mesh. Very, very pretty. Now once I get all of my red and black bundles in, then we'll go back and add the green around the outside so it looks like it's a slice of watermelon. I have all of my rose bundles on and I think it looks really cute. And now I'm just kind of pulling everything a little bit more into the center because we're going to add the green, the dark green around the outside. So take the end, scrunch it, and add a pipe cleaner. Attach it to one of the crossbars. I always like to take my ends of my Deco mesh, pull it back through those pipe cleaners, and give it another twist. I don't want those to pull through while I'm working on it. And you can trim some of the excess off of your mesh and tuck down your pipe cleaners. Now we're going to be doing the poof method all the way around. In between each section, we're going to be putting 4 poofs, and we're going to measure our poofs at 7 inches. You want to start to measure where you attached it here on the wreath. Okay, measure to 7 inches, pinch, add a pipe cleaner, and then you want to attach it to the outer bar and the inner bar. So the outer bar and the first inner bar. Give a twist or 2. Trim and tuck your pipe cleaners. You want to place one on the crossbar and then 3 poofs, and then one on the crossbar and 3 poofs all the way around the outside of your wreath. And there you go, our base is complete, and I think it looks absolutely adorable, just like a nice big slice of watermelon. Here on the back you can see I've tucked in all of my pipe cleaners. This helps to keep the back nice and smooth so you don't have any scratchy edges. And you can see that I just attached the green right around the outside to the 2 bars on the outside, and I think that is perfect. Not too much, but just enough that you get the idea. It's a slice of watermelon. You're also going to need one of these fun summer signs that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. This is brand new this year. So I've deconstructed my sign. I removed each of the slices of watermelon, and I cut the jute cord here on the watermelon so I could have some extra here on my sign. So this is the one that came across the top to hang. I cut that in the center. And this is the bottom from where 2 of my watermelons were. I'm going to use this jute cord to help attach it to my wreath form, as well as the 2 full-length pipe cleaners that I glued down here on the bottom, as I want this guy right in the middle. This way I don't have to put any holes or anything in it, and it's secured by more than just glued on pipe cleaners. And then I just added 1 to each of my slices of watermelon. So these guys are all ready now to go on my wreath, and I really like this one. It actually has a little bite out of the side. Now my summer fun here, I want pretty much in the center. I want to angle it just slightly like that. And then I really like this piece that has the bites out of it. So that one I want to put kind of up here at the top. I'm going to put a bow over here. And then you just need to play with where you want to place your slices of watermelon so that it looks right to you. Okay, I kind of like that. And like I said, I'm going to put a nice bow up here, and that'll take care of that area. Now to attach these, you just take your pipe cleaners and the jute cord. You separate the Deco mesh until you can get down to your wire frame in the back. And then you can attach it anywhere on the wire frame that you need to get your pieces to sit properly on your wreath. Now I have all pieces of my sign attached. Now you can play with the angles and where you place them until you're happy with it, but I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to work on adding some ribbon and a bow. I grabbed these 2 watermelon ribbon that I've had on hand, and this one is 1.5 inches. I think that's so pretty. It is wired edge. And this one I believe is, let's measure, 2.5 inches. And this has more of a burlap background, and this one's a little bit more shiny. So to get started, you want to cut 3 pieces of this ribbon at 20 inches. We're going to make 3 basic bows like this to start. So I have my ribbon cut at 20 inches. Fold it in half so you can find the center. And you want to place the center in the middle of the 2 large dowel rods so that the nice side of the fabric is facing down. And then I'm going to take one end and pull it through, and I want to measure my loop here at 3 inches. And then take the other side, pull it through, and again measure that loop at 3 inches. And go ahead and take a pipe cleaner and wrap it around to the back. You want to pull down so you can get a good grip, pinch and twist. Now it's up to you. You can pull both your tails down. You can pull them one to each side, whatever looks right to you. And then just dovetail your ends. Okay, you'll want to make 3 bows. I attached all of my ribbon bundles. I just did 3. I love it. I did one on either side of the sign and one on the bottom here in between. And now I'm going to do a bigger bow to go right here, and I'm going to mix the 2 ribbons that I showed you. I'm going to start with the wider ribbon, and I'm going to measure my tail here at 8 inches, pinch, and then twist as you come through. So on your tails, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing up, but as you come through and you go to make your loops, the nice side should be facing down. You want to measure your loops at 4 inches, and we'll be making 3 loops on either side. And now we're moving on to this ribbon. Now this ribbon has one right side because of the pattern, so we're going to add the ribbon a little bit differently. I'm going to cut one strip at 16 inches. This is going to be our tails. Fold in half, find your center. Then place that in, and you want the nice side facing up. Then you want to measure the ribbon and cut 2 pieces at 14 inches. You want to bring the ends together. You want them to cross each other by about 1 inch. Push down so that you can find the center. Then you want to make sure that the green is on the same side, whether you put that at the top or the bottom. Slide that in. Do the same thing to the second piece. Cut an additional piece at about 3 to 4 inches. We'll use this to wrap the center. You'll need a full-length pipe cleaner. Lift up and slide down on one side till you get it right next to the dowel rods. Lift up. Grab the pipe cleaners, push down on your ribbon so you can get it nice and snug, and then lift out. That will help keep everything stacked. Then you want to cross your pipe cleaners, pull nice and snug, pull it to the back and give a good twist. Okay, just do a little bit of adjusting. Make sure you can get your loops to lay the way that you want. Just don't pull too hard. You don't want to pull it apart. And then on the short piece of ribbon here, we're going to do a tri-fold. Start by folding in the green part. Fold over the other. I like to add just a dab of hot glue. It'll help hold it together while I'm working with it. Then here in the back, you want to make sure that your pipe cleaners are open. Attach your ribbon and then wrap around the center. Glue it down in the back and trim off any excess. Just go ahead and pull down your tails and open up your loops. I always do my final adjusting and trim my tails. Once I get it on my wreath, I have a better visual as to how long or short I want them, but that's approximately what your bow should look like. And there you go, I have my bow on and I think it's so pretty. It's the perfect final addition to my summertime watermelon wreath. For today's fall wreath, we're going to be using the 18-inch wire wreath form that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. You're also going to need some pipe cleaners cut in half. And then you're going to need 2 rolls of 10-inch by 10-yard mesh. This I picked up from Hobby Lobby. This is their Polypro mesh ribbon. This is weatherproof. And it regularly retails for $11.99. I only buy their mesh when it comes on sale. It's usually 40 to 50% off, and that is when I stock up. I have 1 roll of my mesh out, my frame, and my pipe cleaners. To get this started, you want to scrunch your end and add a pipe cleaner. Now we're going to be doing the bubble method today. This is basically the same motion as the poof method, except you add more bubbles to each section. Then you want to take that and attach it to one of the crossbars. Feed it from the front to the back. Give a couple twists. Push your ends from the front to the back and push them back through those pipe cleaners. And then twist them down again. You want to make sure that's nice and secure. This will also make sure the ends stay to the back of the wreath. And then I just kind of pull my pipe cleaners together and I push those forward. Once you get your mesh on there, you're not going to be able to see that from the front. Now you want to grab your mesh and pull. We're going to measure our bubbles at 8 inches. And then measure out to 8 inches, pinch. Add another pipe cleaner. The first bubble we're going to be attaching to the center bar and the inner bar. Wrap it around. Pull your pipe cleaners together, give a good twist or 2. Pull together and push forward. Move your bubble over. Grab again, measure at 8 inches. Pinch, add another pipe cleaner. This next bubble is attached to the center bar and the outer bar. My sign is very large and long. I want to make sure that my wreath base is nice and wide, so it can stand up and hold its own to the size of the sign that I'm using. Okay, so then push that over. By going on either side, when you go to open that up, you're going to have a nice wide, thick base. As you add your bubbles, just push them over. Now between the two crossbars is a section, and in each section I'll be adding 10 bubbles. So I'll have 5 that are attached to the center bar and the inner bar, and 5 that are attached from the inner bar to the outer bar. So I'm just going to continue this and work my way around the wreath. One roll should cover 4 sections. A great time saver is to measure out several of your bubbles, then go back and attach them. This makes the process go much faster. Okay, I have one roll of my 10-inch by 10-yard deco mesh onto my wreath. I've gone in and opened and kind of separated them out. Looks absolutely beautiful. No fraying at all from the mesh with this method. Here on the back you can see I've been alternating between the center bar and the inner bar, and the center bar and the outer bar. This makes my wreath base nice and thick and wide, exactly what I'm looking for. My base is complete. It is nice, thick, and full. And I did use 2 full rolls of the 10-inch by 10 yards. But look at how pretty, absolutely no fraying with the bubble method. Now this is the sign that I'm using today on our wreath. These came out this year for Dollar Tree. They have 2. This one that is in kind of the reds, green, oranges, more traditional. They also have one that has the blue tones. You never know what you're going to be able to find in your store. But I love this sign. It says, "Hi there, pumpkin," and has the cutest little scarecrow. So here on the back I attached 2 pipe cleaners. I hot glued them on. I also added some ribbon. They've set up and they're perfect. Now when I attach these, I'm going to make sure that I attach them to crossbars on the back. So I will attach them directly across from each other on the crossbar. And all you need to do is separate your mesh and feed those pipe cleaners through the mesh until you can get it to the wire frame. Go right around your crossbar, pull snug, and give a couple twists. Trim and tuck your ends forward on your pipe cleaners. The sign is on. It's nice and attached. I like that. Now we're going to add some ribbon tails and a nice bow. So we're going to work on the bow next. I'm going to be using my Deluxe Easy Bow Maker. These are the 2 ribbons that I've pulled out. I think they're both very pretty. They came from Dollar Tree. You will need 2 rolls of each, 2.5 inches at 3 yards for $1.25. So let's start with our bow. I'm going to use this really pretty green burlap ribbon you can get from Dollar Tree. I don't want my tails too long, so I'm going to measure them at 8 inches. Pinch and twist. That's my tail. Now I'm going to start making the loops for my bow. And let's see, I'm going to go about 4 inches. And I'm going to make 2 loops on either side. going to move on to this really pretty ribbon. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Measure my tails at 8 inches. Pinch and twist. And then I'm going to make 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. Measure your tail at 6 inches. Make 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. I'm going to do the same thing with this ribbon. My tail's at 6 inches. 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. If you're enjoying today's content, make sure to subscribe, and when the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content. And I do upload new content to my channel every week. I need a full-length pipe cleaner. Lift up all your ribbon on one side, slide that down underneath. Always push my ribbon down so it's snug and then lift out. That's going to help keep it all stacked. Make sure that you're in the center, wrap it around and pull to the back. Pull down your tails, open up your loops. If you have any issues of them not laying correctly, go right down to where they come out and open that up. That'll usually take care of the problem. Okay, so I think I'm only going to pull my long tails down. The others I'm going to mix in with my loops, and then I will trim them a little bit shorter. Okay, so just play with your bow, open up your loops, spread them out, and arrange them to however they look right to you. Okay, so that's all nice and opened and fluffed out. I will do my final arranging and trim my tails once I get it onto the wreath. I have the bow on. I trimmed all my tails and fluffed it out. I'm really happy with that. So cute. For our ribbon tails, you want to cut your ribbon into strips at 12 inches and dovetail both ends. You should be able to get 9 pieces of ribbon off of each roll. My ribbon's all cut and I have some pipe cleaners cut in half. I always like to put the solid ribbon on the bottom. And before I put my bundles into my wreath, I like to style them out a little bit, make sure they're going to lay the way I want them to. So it looks like a little bundle of ribbon. I will make 9 of those for our wreath. I'm adding in my ribbon bundles, and you just use your pipe cleaners. Once you decide where you want to place it, just move the mesh over and attach it to the wire frame. Now you want to move your ribbon bundles around. You don't want to place all of them on the outer ring or all of them on the center ring or middle ring. You want to move it. When you get down near your sign, because your sign is longer than the wreath, just slightly, to help blend that in, you want to place a ribbon bundle on either side, a little on the outer part of the wreath. That way that'll help blend that in and you're not going to notice that the sign is so big. So on this one I placed my bundle on the outside. Now this is way on the inside. So this one I'm going to place kind of right in the middle. Go down and attach it to that center ring. Just take your pipe cleaners once you have it attached and push those back forward. You don't want anything sharp on the back of your wreath. Then just lift up and adjust your ribbon. So on this side you can see outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside. That way I have a nice distribution of my ribbon bundles. He's looking so adorable, but we're not done yet. I found this pack in the plus section at Dollar Tree for fall. It was $3 and you get 6 feet. I thought the color was perfect for our wreath. Let me get this open. Okay, now I'm hoping, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. So if I can get that back in there, perfect. Okay, so to get it off of the rope here, just be gentle and remove the stem, kind of roll it. You don't want to remove much of that orange because you don't want to see the white. And then just take the rope off. And then we'll glue it right back in. Make sure to get good contact with your Deco mesh. Aileen's Original Tacky Glue will take 24 to 48 hours to fully set up. You do not want to put your wreath outside until it is fully cured. So just work your way around your wreath and add in your pumpkins. Just change the angle that they sit as you move around. I have all my pumpkins in and I did use every single one. Some there at the top, throughout, and I put one kind of hidden down here at the bottom. And I really like that, and I feel like it's not quite done. It needs one more item. So I'm going to add some of these really pretty sunflowers. The sign here has sunflowers in it, and so does the ribbon. So I think this is good, and I like this color. You just want to cut them, leave a couple inches of a stem, and then when you place them, add glue and make sure that they are nicely nestled down inside the mesh so that they get a good attachment. And I like to take a set of leaves and push it all the way up near the top so there's just a little bit of greenery sticking out. I'm going to add a few of the sunflowers. And here you go, we are all done. I got the one stem in and that added just that little bit more of orange that I needed. I think it is very pretty. Now this finished wreath is about 25 to 26 inches in diameter, so it is nice and large, perfect for your front door. To get started on our fall wreath, you're going to need one of the tinsel witch hats that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. They just call it decor. Now these arrive in stores when they get all of their Halloween signs in. To prepare this for our base, you need to remove the bow and the buckle and then remove all of the tinsel. They usually start right up here, and then you just easily go back and forth all the way down until you remove everything off the base except for the hanger. You want to leave that. Now here around the top part of the hat, you need to go ahead and remove all of these little plastic nubs. They'll get in the way when we go to wrap our base. I just use my wire cutters. They work very well and come right off. I have all of the nubs off, and I did remember to leave my hanger on my form. Now on my hats, I like to stuff them. I have some packing bubble wrap here. I have 2 sheets that used to carry signs, so that would be 4 pieces. So I just lay it down on the bubble wrap and then roughly trace it out so I can cut it out. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. This list will not only tell you how much you're going to need, it will also let you know where I purchased the materials. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use to add a little bit more girth to my top hat here. But before I do that, this is the material that we're going to use to cover the top part of the hat. I did get it from Dollar Tree out of the Crafter Square section. I thought this was so pretty. It has deer, mushrooms, acorns, some greenery, butterflies, little bunnies, all kinds of really pretty, and I love that dark blue background. Now 1 fat quarter from Dollar Tree is plenty of material. In fact, you can cover 2 hats with 1 piece of material from Dollar Tree. As you can see, that's plenty. You could cover a whole nother hat on the other side. Now to prep my material, I'm going to go ahead and iron it and remove all of the wrinkles. I have my piece of fabric ironed out, and like I said, this is big enough you can do cover 2, but I'm going to use part of it to cover the back of the wreath this time. So I have the wreath laying on here, my frame, and I have it facing up. And then I'm just going to trace out the top section here with my pen. And now I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to cut on the inside of the line I made. Okay, so I have my piece. This is what I'm going to use to cover the back once I'm done. Okay, so you can see my piece is going to be plenty big enough to cover the top portion. Now before I add my stuffing here, I'm going to attach part of my fabric. I'm going to attach it to one side here. Now my pattern has a right side. You want to make sure that it is facing in the correct direction. It wouldn't look very good if all of my pattern was upside down. So just keep that in mind if yours has a right side. Now to get the fabric attached, I'm just going to be hot gluing it right to the frame. Just do small sections at a time. If you're enjoying today's content, make sure to subscribe, and when the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content. And I do upload new content to my channel every week. Now when you get to where your hanger is, you need to snip a little hole and pull it through. And Another good thing is to remove excess fabric as you work. You only need to leave like 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Now let's get in our stuffing. Now this side that has the curve is more difficult to wrap than the other, and the hint that I'll give you that makes it much easier is when you get to the curve, take your scissors and cut in. Go down about 1 inch, cut in. Don't go past this point. You want to stop just before that. But do just a few cuts just in the fabric. That's what's going to make things a lot easier for you to wrap this side. Okay, as you can see, you got a nice smooth wrap all the way to the tip. Now before you add your backing, just make sure everything is glued down nicely. And just line it up and hot glue it down. As you work your way up, do a little bit on one side and then go and do a little bit on the other. If you try to do one side all the way up, you may end up over pulling and then not have enough on the opposite side to cover. I have my backing on. Make sure you don't glue in your hanger. You want to leave that out. So that looks nice and clean, both from the front to the back. So this would be great if you have a glass door that you're going to be putting this on. This is a perfect wreath for that because this looks nice and clean. And then when you get the mesh on, you're not going to really notice the frame there from the back either. Okay, so let's get our ribbon ready to go onto our wreath form. These are the 2 ribbon that I've chosen for this. And as you can see, this one matches our fabric very well, and this accents it very well, that navy and white check. Both of these came out of the fall section, and they are 2.5 inches at 3 yards. You want to cut each ribbon into strips at 10 inches and dovetail both ends. I have all my ribbon cut. I was able to get about 11 pieces. I'm probably only going to need 10, but it's always nice to have an extra one. I also pulled out some orange mesh tubing and some brown mesh tubing that I had in my stash. I want to cut 9 pieces of each at 20 inches. I have all my mesh tubing prepared. Now I'm going to work on my mesh. I have 1 roll of the Poly Pro Mesh waterproof ribbon. This comes from Hobby Lobby. It's 5.5 inches by 10 yards. You will need 1 roll. We're going to cut the entire roll into strips at 7 inches. I have all my mesh cut into strips at 7 inches. We're going to be doing the curl method today, and we're going to be making 2 different bundles. This is our first bundle. It has 2 curls and then 1 of each piece of the mesh tubing. I think that's really pretty, and that's going to accent my other bundle really well. That also has 2 curls in it and then 1 piece of each ribbon. I like that extra little bit of orange. It really makes the orange in the ribbon pop. So for our first bundle, You want to do 2 curls, and you just want to make sure that you don't do your curls too tight. You should roll about 4 times. If you do it too tight, your end is going to stick out, and then you're going to end up with a lot of fraying. Take your seam side and place it down. I'm going to be using my bow dabber today to help me. I like to use this machine when I make bundles. If you don't have a bow maker, you can always use a clip or just hold it in your hand if you have good hands. Just find the center, and then you're just going to make like a bow. Bring the ends to the center. Place that in. Do the same thing with the orange piece. Take a pipe cleaner that's cut in half. Wrap that around. Get it nice and snug and give it a twist or 2. I like to pull everything down. This lets me know that I am in the middle. Everything is relatively even on both sides. Very pretty. For our second bundle, again, 2 curls. And then 1 of each ribbon. I always like to style my ribbon bundles a little bit before I put them onto my wreath. Kind of open up, give them a little bit of shape, make sure they're going to be able to sit the way that I want them to once they're attached. Just kind of open up, curl out the top. Very cute. Now to get these attached, we're going to be attaching everything to the center bar here. Now they do have crossbars, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. So we're going to be placing about 3 bundles per section. I'm going to start with this one. And I want this first bundle to be right on the edge there. On my hats, I like my corners nice and full. Okay, I'm going to trim my pipe cleaners a little bit. They're kind of long. And then I'm going to push those forward. And I'm just going to alternate between my 2 bundles. So I have it wrapped right around that bar, pull it together and give a good twist or 2. That is looking so pretty already, and that's just 3 bundles. Okay, I'm going to continue to add my bundles until I get the base filled. I have all of my bundles in, nice, thick and full. I love the ribbon and I love the mesh tubing with that neutral background. I think it looks fantastic, especially since that ribbon matches the fabric I used so well. Now again, here at the top on my fall wreath, as I did with my Halloween, I'm going to add a little something something. So I had 1 more piece of ribbon left that was about 12 inches, so I cut that in half, dovetailed the ends of all 4 pieces. And so I have 1 of each, and then I have a piece of each tubing, and then 1 more each of the ribbon. And this little guy I'm going to attach right here at the tip. Initially I'm just going to wrap the pipe cleaners on here, and then I will go back and hot glue it on. Doesn't that look cute? I really like that. Now I do want to add a little something more to this. I picked this up from Dollar Tree. It had a little eyelet at the top, so it's like an ornament. I removed the sticker on the back. They have a couple different characters to choose from, but I really liked the fox and I liked the orange. I want to add a little bit more orange, and I think he's going to look adorable. I want to stick him in off to the side here, so he looks like he's nestled in at the top of the hat. Now to get this guy attached, I'm going to use a combination of Aleene's Original Tacky Glue and some hot glue. Absolutely adorable. I love the fox. Now I also am going to add a couple mushrooms. Now these I actually picked up at Dollar Tree and they came out of the fairy garden. So this one came out of a different package and then this one. And I like that one's taller and one's shorter, so I want to put the taller one here, and then the shorter one next to it. So it's kind of like a little surprise when they walk up to your door. You won't be able to see it from a distance, but when you walk up to the door, you'll be able to see it. Again, I'm going to attach this with a combination of Aleene's Original Tacky Glue and hot glue. And here you go, we are all done. I absolutely love the addition of the mushrooms and the little fox. That really draws your eye in, and all those beautiful colors throughout the rest of the wreath. How gorgeous. Nice and fluffy. So it took about 8 items from Dollar Tree and 1 roll of Deco mesh from Hobby Lobby. So this is a very budget-friendly fall wreath. Something a little different and unique to hang on your door to welcome the fall season. A beautiful fall harvest hat. To get started on our project today, you're going to need a 14-inch wire wreath form. This one happens to be silver, but it doesn't matter what color, you can use any one. You're also going to need 5 rolls of the light blue mesh and 5 rolls of the white mesh, and some pipe cleaners cut in half. I have my mesh unwrapped and I have 1 roll of the blue and 1 roll of the white laid out. You want to cut all of your mesh into strips at 15 inches. I prefer to use a rotary cutter. I get a really nice clean cut, but if you don't have one, of course you can use scissors. The rotary cutter here that I'm using I did pick up from the Dollar Tree, and it works very well. I usually get a good 6 to 8 months use out of it before I have to replace it. So I think that's a great deal for $1.25. We're going to be doing my rosebud method. Now, if you have not seen me do this method, it is a fabulous method. You can use any of the Dollar Tree mesh and get a beautiful no fray base with this method. I'm going to be putting 3 pieces in each bundle. So one bundle will have 2 blue and 1 white, and the next one will have 2 white and 1 blue. And I'm also going to be using my Bodabra. I do have arthritis in my hands, and this makes it much easier to hold my bundles for me as I make them. Now, to do the rose bundle method, you take your piece of mesh that's cut at 15 inches. You take the 2 cut ends and you fold them over themselves by about 1 inch. Press down. Come to the side, make sure the side is lined up. You want to fold over by about 1/2 inch. and then continue to fold all the way to the other side. It should take you 4 folds. The side that has the seam is the side you want to go down. Okay. I'll show you again. 15 inches. Cover the ends by about 1 inch and push down. Make sure the end is fully lined up and fold over by about 1/2 inch, and then continue to fold as you go. Should take about 4 folds to get to the other side. Take the seam side and put that down. You'll need 1/2 pipe cleaner. Now, if you have good hands, you can hold the bundles in your hands. If you don't have a bow maker and you need help, you can also use one of the little pink clips that you can get at Dollar Tree. So you want to wrap it around the center, pull it to the back, and give a couple twists. And then to attach these to our wreath form, we're going to be attaching it to the 2 bars here in the center. And in each section, and the section is between the 2 crossbars, you're going to be placing 6 bundles. Now these bundles are nice and large, and as you can see, 6 bundles will fully cover a section. I've already completed 1 section, and now I'm working on my 2nd section. But look at how beautiful. The ends look like the center of a rose, which is why I call it my rose bundle method. And there is absolutely no fraying with this method. And it gives you such a beautiful and textured base. I love it. I'm going to finish off my base, and then I'll be back and we can move forward. I have my rosebud base completely finished, and I am very pleased. It's so nice and thick and full, and as you can see, there's absolutely no fraying with this method. I did use the full 10 rolls of mesh, 5 of the blue and 5 of the white. That gave me about 5 to 6 bundles per section on the wreath, and as you can see, that was plenty to give me a really nice thick base. This is the sign that I've chosen to use today. I did pick this up from craftoutlet.com. It was about $3.50. It is a metal sign. Remove any stickers that might be on the back. And then this did come with a jute cord hanger. I removed that and I replaced it with some floral wire. I just picked up my floral wire from Dollar Tree. So I come in through the hole and over the top and twist it together and leave a nice long piece there so I can attach it to my wreath. So I've done that to both sides. This guy's ready to go onto the wreath. Let's work on the bow now. I have my Deluxe Easy Bow Maker. I love this machine. It helps me so much. I do have arthritis in my hands. You'll need a couple full-length pipe cleaners. And I pulled out 3 ribbon for this wreath. Now, I did, when I purchased the sign, I did purchase some ribbon to go with it. And for the life of me, I have no idea what I did with it. So I pulled out some other ribbon that I have. So if you happen to purchase the sign and the other ribbon, just use the other ribbon. These 2 I picked up from papermart.com. That's also another good site to pick up ribbon. And this is 2.5 inches. Has that light blue background and those really cute little snowmen. And then this one is also 2 inches or 2.5 inches. And this is sheer, and it has the white snowflakes on top. And this one, at the time I bought it, and these are all 10-yard rolls, was $3.95, and this one with the snowman was $5.45. And then I'm also going to use this one, and this is 1.5 inches. This one I did pick up from Costco or Kirkland. And I really like this, especially for winter. Look at it, it's a beautiful white background and it has stitching of silver in it. It's so pretty. It gives that frosty look and feel I'm looking for. Now I'm going to start with this one right here. And I think I want my tails to be relatively long. So again, I'm going to measure out my tails this time at about 10 inches. And then I'm going to pinch and twist and come down between the two large dowel rods. Now here on your tails, you want the nice side of your ribbon to face up, but once you come through and you go to make your loops for your bow, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing down. Now on this ribbon, I'm going to measure my loops at about 5 inches, and I'm only going to do 2 loops on either side. If you enjoyed today's content, please give me a big thumbs up and show some love in the comment section. This really does help support my channel. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. When the notification bell pops up, you're going to want to hit that too. That way YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content. And I do add new content to my channel every week. And now I'm going to go to the 1.5 inch ribbon. I really like it. It's so pretty. Again, I'm going to measure my tails a little on the longer side and go about 10 inches. Pinch and twist. And with this ribbon, I'm going to do 3 loops on either side, and I'm going to do them right at 5 inches. Now I'm going to move to this beautiful snowman ribbon. Again, I'm going to measure my tails here at about 10 inches. If I decide I don't want the tails long, I can always trim them shorter, but I'm thinking long tails on this one. Pinch and twist. And with this ribbon, I'm going to measure my loops at 4 inches. So they're slightly smaller, and I'm going to do 2 loops on either side. And I'm going to go back to this really pretty silver ribbon. This time I'm only going to measure the tails at 8 inches. Pinch and twist. And I'm going to do 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. Now I cut a piece about 19 inches of my snowman ribbon. And I just want to take that and make a loop. I want my loop to be about 3 inches, but I need the ribbon to come over itself by at least 1 inch. So I just kind of lay it down, measure out 3 inches and pinch, and then scrunch it together. Okay, so I have a cut piece here, and at the bottom the short cut piece should go down. I'm going to place this in the center. That's going to be my center loop, and it's going to give me an extra tail. Okay, take a full length pipe cleaner, slide it down on one side underneath all the ribbon until you get next to the dowel rods. Pull it up on either side. I always like to pinch, and then I push down as far as I can on my ribbon so I can get it nice and snug, and then pinch right at the top. This helps me lift it right out, and it keeps everything stacked. Press down, cross over those pipe cleaners and pull them to the back. Get that really nice and snug. and give it a couple twists. These pipe cleaners aren't going to be long enough to get it onto my wreath, so I just add another one, place it in the center, give a twist or two. Then take one of the short pipe cleaners and wrap it around one of the longer ones. You do that to both sides. Now that's fully secure and you have plenty of pipe cleaner to get this onto your wreath. So I have a center loop, so I'll lift that up and then I hold it right in the middle. Keep the pipe cleaners in the back. This way I know I'm not going to pull too hard and pull out any of my loops. And I can then adjust, pull down all my tails, separate and open up my loops. Okay, so that's approximately what your bow should look like. I always do my final adjusting and I'll trim my tails once I get it onto the wreath. But I really love those three ribbons together. They perfectly complement each other. Gives me that frosty feel that I'm looking for. So I'm going to place my sign in the center, but I want it over to one side so it kind of reaches the edge. I still want to see a little bit of the wreath on the side. And the reasoning is I want to put my bow up here and I want half of the tails to come across this way, maybe a few to come forward and then the rest to come down on this side. As my bow is nice and big. And this is why I don't trim my tails until I get it onto my wreath. So these will probably get cut a little shorter that come down towards the sign, whereas these that are longer are going to stay the length that they are. Now to get my sign and my bow attached, you just use the pipe cleaners or your floral wire. You separate your mesh once you find its position and you feed that down through your mesh until you can get to your wire frame in the back. You attach it here to the wire frame and you can attach it anywhere on that wire frame that you need to get your sign and bow to sit in the proper position. I have my bow and sign attached and I'm very pleased. My sign's not going to go anywhere. Now normally I like to put all four sides down, but because this is metal, I'd either have to punch more holes in it or you can also use a cable tie mount and attach those with E6000. But I think the wire is going to be plenty. Now there's only one more item I want to add to this wreath to finish off that frosty feel. And it's a package of these Christmas ornaments that you can get at Dollar Tree. I really like the snowflakes. Now we have blue snowflakes here on the sign, but I think the white looks very pretty against that light blue and white background. So I do have one full package of these and I'm going to be attaching them using hot glue and Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. I absolutely love this glue if you want to put a wreath outside. It takes 24 to 48 hours to fully cure, but once this glue does, it is not going to fall off your wreath. I tried last year on some Christmas wreaths that I put out front. It got full wind, rain, sleet, everything, and nothing fell off those wreaths. I was highly impressed. I recommend this glue if you're going to put anything outside. So I'm just going to work with these for my placement. I want to place some here flat on top, and then I'm also going to go around and kind of open up on the sides and then tuck some in here on the sides. I really like that. So I'll put a couple around the sides and a couple on the top. Put some of Aleene's right in the center. Then I'm just going to add a few dabs of hot glue. The hot glue will hold it in place until Aleene's can fully set up. I like that very much. I'm going to add the rest of my snowflakes and then I'll be back and show you the finished product. And there you go. I've added all of my snowflakes and I'm so pleased. They were the perfect final addition for my Winter Fresh Flurries wreath. To get started on our beautiful winter wreath today, you will need a 14-inch wire wreath form. I picked this up from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using Dollar Tree mesh. I have 2 rolls of the light blue, 2 rolls of white, and 2 rolls of silver. The silver comes out of their Christmas section. And I'm also going to be using silver pipe cleaners on this wreath. I have 3 rolls of mesh laid out and layered. I have 1 gray, 1 white, and 1 blue. I like to cut my mesh layered like this. It just makes quicker work of it. I need to cut strips at 30 inches. You should be able to get 6 cuts off of each roll. I like to use a rotary cutter. It gives me a nice clean cut, but if you don't have one, a good sharp pair of scissors will work as well. These are the ribbon I've chosen for the wreath today. This one is 2.5 inches, beautiful satin background with that beautiful blue snowflake. This did come from Hobby Lobby. It is the Robert Stanley Christmas collection. And then I also have this one, which is really pretty. It's that beautiful blue. It's slightly translucent and glitter. I got this through my thrift store, but it's a Celebrate It, which I believe is a Michaels brand. But anything that's the correct color tones will work with this wreath. And this one is 1.5, this is 2.5 inches. You need to cut each of your ribbon into strips at 9 inches, and you will need 12 of each ribbon. Now, a trick I like to do when I have to cut multiple ribbon is I measure it out, pinch and fold. So now I have 2 pieces of ribbon with those 2 folds, and then I fold again and just keep folding over itself. You don't need any special tools. And if you have really good scissors, you can do this. Put your scissors in and cut all of the ribbon at once. This saves a lot of time. I did pick my scissors up through Amazon. They are in my Amazon Associate shop under Tools. These are not very expensive. They're only about $15 and they are well worth it. Okay, and then I'm also going to dovetail my ends. I have my mesh and ribbon cut, so let's start putting together our base. we're going to be doing the woodland ruffle. It's also called the cruffle method. And this time I'm going to be putting my pipe cleaners onto my wreath form first. And each section is going to have 6 bundles. So one bundle is going to be attached here to the 2 bars on the outside. Okay, and I'm just going to be alternating the colors. I'm going to go with the gray or silver, white, and then blue. I like to use something to help me weigh down my mesh. Now you just start at one end. You want to do a nice large curl about the size of a fat cigar or a quarter. You don't want it to be too tight, and because this is Dollar Tree mesh, I do like to roll it about 3 or 4 times. I want to make sure those ends are nice and hidden. Put a little clip, go all the way down to the other end, and you're going to do the same thing. Once you get your 3 or 4 rolls, then you're going to pinch and scrunch right down the center. Do your best to keep it in the center as you move. You get to the other side. And that's your little bundle. You have a curl on either end and a nice thick ruffle in the middle. And then when you place it here onto your wreath form, you want to place it so that it is wide, not this way. If you place it wide, once you get everything in there, they're going to butt up next to each other. It's going to give it a thicker and fuller look to your wreath. Pull nice and tight and give a couple twists. Now I'm going to be leaving my pipe cleaners for right now because there are some other things I want to add to my wreath. Okay. So my next one is going to be white, and when I add my white, that's when I'm going to be adding my ribbon. Now if your roll is too tight, you will know, the mesh will let you know, your ends will stick out. Now if your ends are sticking out, go back, loosen up your roll. If you leave it with the ends sticking out, you're going to have a lot of trouble with fraying. I didn't put my pipe cleaner on first. Okay, so my next pipe cleaner is going to go here on the 2 bars in the center. Just get it even, give it a couple twists. And place your bundle. Okay, so I'm doing my white bundle, so I want to add my ribbon. Now I'm going to stack my ribbon a little bit. I have my larger ribbon on the bottom, 2.5 inch and my 1.5 inch. Okay, and then just at the center, go ahead and scrunch right on up and pinch. And you want to kind of bend down a little bit. And then you can place that in your white bundle on top. You don't have to undo the pipe cleaner. Just go ahead and tighten that down. Trim off, I usually leave just about 1/2 inch. And then you want to push that down. Just kind of lift up. We'll go back and fluff out the ribbon after we get everything onto the wreath. and then you'll move over. And the next one we're going to place on the 2 bars on the outside. And that is 6 bundles in one section. So you'll have 2 ribbon bundles because you'll have 2 white per section. And once we get everything else on, I think that's going to be plenty. I have my base complete and I'm so pleased. I love that mix of colors. It's so wintry and frosty. The next thing I want to do is get my sign on. And this sign is what we're going to use today. Flakes and drifters welcome. I think it's so cute. I did pick this up from craftoutlet.com. Now it does come with a hole here at the top and one here at the bottom. I went ahead and put some pipe cleaners in there. This is what I'm going to use to attach it. I want it right here in the center, and because I can only attach it at the top and the bottom, I want to make sure I get it on a crossbar both at the top and the bottom. That way this isn't going to shift or change once I get it on my wreath. My sign is on. It's nice and secure. Once you get your sign on, you want to make sure to trim and tuck your pipe cleaners. Now you can see I added 6 bundles per section, 3 on the 2 rings on the outside and 3 on the 2 center rings. I just alternated between the 2. And I'm really happy with that. Now one of the reasons why I did that was because I'm using 3 different color bundles, and if I stack them right next to each other, this would come out looking very striped. But because I alternated those bundles, it looks very well mixed and does not look striped. So I'm really happy with that. Now I do want to add some lights to this wreath. I got these from Dollar Tree. They're really cute. They're little snowflakes. You get 10 lights for $1.25. Though they are for indoor use only. So if you do use this on a wreath, you need to keep your wreath inside. That's my Marley Moo. Come here, baby. Come here. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. I guess he needed a little bit of love. I left my door open. Hi, big boy. Okay, come on. Mama's got to work. Come on. Okay. So I did pick these up from Dollar Tree. They have several different kinds to choose from. This is what they look like when you take them out of the package. They do require 2 AA batteries. Okay, I did add some batteries. Now, if you're not familiar with Dollar Tree light sets, you're going to need one of these. You can find this over in the hardware section. You need a really tiny screwdriver to undo the screw to be able to put the batteries in. But they do light up nicely, and they kind of have almost a blue tone to them. I think that's so pretty. And now we're going to get these attached, and that is why I left all the pipe cleaners on except for where I added the ribbon. This is going to help us get our lights on. So I'm just going to place a light down in where I have a pipe cleaner, and I'm going to twist that. Trim it down to about a 1/2 inch on your pipe cleaners, and then tuck those babies. Okay, and then you just want to make sure you hide your wire when you move from one pipe cleaner to another. As you're adding your lights to your wreath, you want to fluff out your ribbon and remove any of the other pipe cleaners that are left on your wreath. Make sure to trim and tuck those ends. I have all the lights on, and the lights start here, go all the way around to here, so one strand of lights will not make it all the way around the wreath. So there are two ways you can handle it. One, you can add another string of lights and mix it in to cover this section, or you can put a bow here that'll cover this section, and that's what we're going to do because I don't want to have two battery packs on the back. And here, all I did was take two full-length pipe cleaners, wrap it around my battery pack and the two bars in the center on my wreath form here, and tied it off. That way I can just remove the pipe cleaners. I can easily get to the batteries to change them when I need to, and the on and off switch is up here at the top. So it's easy to turn on and off. So let's go ahead and make a beautiful bow for this gorgeous winter wreath. We're going to make the bow now. I'm going to be using my Deluxe Easy Bow Maker. You're also going to need a couple full-length pipe cleaners. And I'm going to be using the same two ribbon that I put in the wreath. I'm going to start here with the larger 2.5 inch ribbon. And I'm going to measure my tails a little long, about 10 inches. Pinch and twist. On your tails, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing up, but once you come through and you go to make your loops, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing down. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 loops on either side at about 4.5 inches. And now I'm going to go in with this really pretty glittery blue ribbon. Measure my tails at 8 inches, pinch and twist. And with this ribbon, I'm going to do 2 loops on either side at a little bit smaller at 4 inches. Now I cut 1 too many pieces for my tails. I'm going to add this. These are 8 inches and they are dovetailed on both ends. And now I want to add a center loop, and I want it to be this ribbon. So just decide how big you want your loop. Okay, so my ribbon here comes down about 1 inch, and then I'm going to leave the other piece a little bit longer so I have an additional tail. And then place that in. That's going to be my center loop. Take a full-length pipe cleaner, lift up your ribbon and slide it in till you get next to your dowel rods. I like to push everything down so it's nice and snug. Pinch and then lift out. That keeps all that ribbon nice and stacked. Cross over the front and pull your pipe cleaners to the back. Pull nice and snug and give a couple twists. And I open up my center loop here. That worked out perfect. Pull down my tails. Now the two shorter tails, I'm going to fan out just like I would my loops. Okay, then open up and separate out all of your loops. If you need to do any adjusting, you want to go right down to where the loop comes out. If you need to twist it, open it up, whatever you need to do to get it to lay the way you want it to. So that is approximately what your bow should look like. I will do my final trimming of my tails and my last adjustment once I get it onto the wreath. I have my bow on and I absolutely love it. Those two ribbons go so beautifully together and they accent my sign perfectly. Flakes and drifters welcome. That makes me smile every time I read it. Now I want to add one final embellishment, and they are these vase fillers. They're white. They come in 3 or 4 different sizes. And I just want to add a little bit more of white. Just add a small amount of hot glue and then nestle it in. Make sure you get good contact with your Deco mesh. I like that very much. And here you go. We are all done. I have all of my white vase fillers in, and I'm really happy with that. I think it looks absolutely adorable. Little drops of snow everywhere. Look at how beautiful the wreath looks all lit up. The snowflakes give a really beautiful light blue cast. I love it. I think it gives that extra sparkle to the wreath.